So completely off topic of the types of questions that we have. I just have a random question kind of in the middle. I've heard people say that, like, I've heard two perspectives. One, like, look at the bedroom and you'll be able to tell how healthy a couple is. Or if it's really healthy, the relationship, then it'll be healthy in the bedroom. And for me, it's kind of this like spectrum of understanding that, is it something that's where intimacy starts? Is that the end of intimacy? Like, where is that gauge when it comes? Like, basically my question is, what really is the role of sex in a healthy relationship?
So I think that that's a great question, because a lot of people think that if we're having great sex, then we have a great relationship, and that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the healthiest relationships, you'll find that their emotional intimacy and their emotional health is so great and so connected that then their sex life is a reflection of that relationship. Mm-hmm. It really, I think that they have to go together. And emotional health and emotional intimacy often precedes a great sex life.
So I've heard people say that if you are, and I'm not quoting one specific person, I've just heard this perspective that if stuff is not going well in your relationship, like, the bedroom can be a restart. I've heard that said before. So is that a thing? Yes or no?
I would be careful with that.
Yeah.
Only because it depends on why you're restarting.
Yeah.
So, and that is a great question, because a lot of people have that perspective that if what are the three things, that it's finances, communication, and sex, and that if those are the make it or break it topics usually within a marriage. And so, if your finances are poor and you're not communicating well, then we're going to have sex and it's going to fix everything. And it doesn't really work that way, because again, you're trying to solve a problem with usually the same brain that caused the problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I think more often than not, couples can use sex as a cover-up for what they should be addressing.
Yeah,
right.
That makes
where
sense.
we feel like, well, we had sex 3 times last week, so we're great. When really, maybe all these issues aren't being addressed, and that just becomes this kind of false security blanket. I do think it's helpful to recognize that kind of there are some gender uniquenesses, that men can tend to pursue sex because they want to feel connected, where women will pursue sex when they feel connected. Mm-hmm. And so you can see that's an obvious setup for problems in relationship, because we'll tend to go through the lens of what we want, whereas we need to have that selflessness to set aside our wants to say, well, what is it my wife is looking for? Or what is it that my husband is looking for? Because if I know what my wife wants is connection so that she feels in the mood, then I need to be willing to work on connection. Now, I don't want to do it selfishly just to get what I need. But let's be honest, we're all humans with mixed motives. That if that's mixed in there, I can't really help that. I'm by nature drawn to things that feel good. But if I really have a sincere desire to bless my wife and serve her, to say, I know she needs connection, and sex won't make her feel connected. So how can I work on connection? How can I work on quality time, a good conversation? Because in the long run, that will benefit her and could create the kind of sexual connection I'm looking for. So I think for men and women listening, if we're willing to say what helps my partner, that it might not be what I want, and I'm willing to serve them and look at what they need, it's going to lead to a healthier outcome, I think.
Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, right? That idea of Philippians. It's good.